Oh, wait. We're going live? You're on.
What's going on, people? Good to see y'all again. Welcome to another episode of Kai and Ichi's MMA Hour, where two goofball fans word spar on the fastest growing sport in the world. I am one of said goofballs, Kai Schwartz, and of course, I am joined by my good friend, Mendy Ichi Ikalevich. What's going on, my dude?
What's going on, brother? How we doing today?
Good. I apologize to everyone. We are a bit late. We had some technical difficulties, but we are here to deliver you the fight news.
Figured it out. We're ready to go. So let's just
get right into it. UFC Fight Night, Santos versus Ankalaev, or UFC Vegas 50, was this past Saturday, and it was a banger. Like I know there's many of you who are MMA fans but only watch like the big pay-per-view cards. Like seriously, get yourself an ESPN Plus account. It's $6 a month, and you get free 3 of the 4 weeks a month. You get a free fight, and these fight cards, I mean, many of them may not have like huge names, but they're bangers. Almost every fight on this card was, fire as fuck. Like
and something else about that is that like when you do watch fighters from the jump, right when they get into the UFC, when you watch these fight nights, you're watching guys that have 1 or 2, 3 or 4 fights in the UFC. You're watching the come up, so you can become their fan before anyone knows them. Like it's really cool to see them from the start, and you can follow their career, as they go on. So that's also pretty cool when you start watching these fight nights. You start seeing their careers build, and we saw some career builders this week. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think on a 12 fight card we had 7 or 8 finishes. It's
crazy.
What was your favorite fight of the night?
Let's go through it here. I'm looking at the prelims. We got AJ Fletcher, crazy fight with AJ Fletcher and Smellsberger. Went all 3 rounds. Semmelsberger, hard last name. But yeah, that fight went all 3 rounds. I thought it was going to get finished in the first, to be totally honest with you. That was a barn burner from the start. These guys were going at it. They did not care. There was that moment. Was undefeated.
There was that moment in the first round where Fletcher had Semmelsberger in a guillotine choke.
Yeah,
and I thought that was it. But Semmelsberger was able to like rally and get him. Like that was a banger. They fought hard for 3 rounds. But after the first round, Semmelsberger just turned it around, and 100%. He was just his experience, I think, really shone through.
For sure. And AJ Fletcher coming in undefeated, finally getting a loss on his record. Some people are like, oh, you want to stay undefeated, but I don't know. I'm the type of guy to say, a loss, you'll learn a lot more from a loss than you will from a win. So it's kind of good that he went through a war like that, 29-28 on all 3 rounds. So the rounds were close, super close for both of them. And Semmelsberger comes up with a win at the end, but crazy good fight for Fletcher for experience. Good one for Semmelsberger. And I think that was my favorite fight on the prelims. That's for sure. For sure.
It's hard for me to pick a favorite fight of the night because they were so good. Of course, they didn't, for some reason, the UFC did not give a fight of the night bonus that night. They gave 4 performance of the night bonuses, which for those who don't know is an extra 50 Gs to all the people involved. But the 2 fights that I thought deserved fight of the night, one of the 2 was either Drew Dober versus Terrence McGinney or Alex Pereira versus Bruno Silva, and none of them got bonuses. I was very surprised.
Yeah, Alex Pereira did not, which was also surprising. Bruno Silva took damage that whole fight. Alex Pereira with his sharp striking, takedown defense like he usually does. Adesanya, kickboxer from the jump, doesn't want to wrestle. Not what he's there for. He's there to strike. And I thought chin of I don't even know what. This guy could take all and crazy. He lost every round 30-27, so you can understand what I was doing to him, but
I disagree with that though. I guess I was watching a much different fight than everyone else because I thought it was much closer. Silva got in a lot of good shots, especially early on.
I really did, yeah. He definitely got in some good shots.
Like, I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm just not that great at scoring, or maybe it's just the way different people look at it. Because I had the fight 29-28 Silva going out of that.
What, at the end of the fight?
Yeah,
Wow.
I maybe I have to rewatch it, but I had it 29. I had the first I had the first two for Silva, and I had the third one for Pereira.
Wow.
But then when I saw the significant strikes after, I guess there was Pereira's just sneaky. You don't see him strike. He is so fast. I guess you just don't. Maybe it was the camera. I think it may have been the camera angles. It had to have been, because I had it 29-28 Silva at the end of it. But Pereira, is still undefeated in the UFC. He's got 2 fights under his belt, and he's moving ever closer to that, just super hyped up rematch with Israel Adesanya. I think he's maybe the only person who's ever knocked Izzy out. He did it, obviously it was in kickboxing, but I think he may be the only person who's ever knocked Izzy out. And that's why 100%. This is just so big, because Izzy, who has just dominated this division since he walked through the door, there's finally someone coming up who could pose a real threat. I feel like Izzy was watching that fight, and I think Izzy, he kind of brushes Pereira off, but I think he's more nervous about that matchup than he lets on.
I do think so. I think Alex comes in with a lot of confidence, because he's already done fighting Izzy. But I think where Izzy's at now, Alex Pereira has never been. So he's never seen that top of the mountain. He hasn't been through the wars that Izzy's been through. So I think if anything, Izzy comes, if they do end up fighting, if he does win, and get to that title shot with Izzy, I do think Izzy is going to be a lot more confident than what you think. I think his just time and hours in the octagon will get him the win at the end of the day. Well, that's what I think.
We'll see. He definitely will not be able to do that sort of calculating point scoring that he did with Robert Whittaker just a few weeks ago.
It would be a completely different fight with Alex Pereira.
That fight needs a finish. Like, he needs, one of them is going to finish the other person. It's
100%.
Pereira clearly has balls, though. He tried calling out Jared Cannonier as his next fight, which is just so far. It's ridiculous.
He just jumped 20 guys in the roster.
Especially because Cannonier is supposed to fight Izzy next for the title, and everyone knows that. It's a ridiculous call out. He's trying to get a number 1 contender fight on his 3rd fight in the UFC.
Relax, buddy. Relax.
And there are precedents for that, like Jiri Prochazka, but it's just not there. We all want the Izzy versus Cannonier fight. Don't get me wrong. I think
we're gonna get it. Just
give Alex Pereira a top 15 guy. Why not? He has the experience. I understand he only has 2 fights in the UFC, but this is a man who has so much experience. I have no issue with him being fast tracked to a title, 100%. And I want him to get to a title shot before Izzy decides to retire. I think Izzy wants to stay in the game until he beats Anderson Silva in terms of title defenses, which he has a long way to go for that. But
true.
I definitely agree with fast tracking Pereira to that top spot.
I agree. Yeah,
but in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. He can go through the rankings. He's a vet in the combat sports in general, just not in the UFC. No problem with that. All right, let's talk about this next fight. Drew Dober, Terrence McKinney. So Terrence McKinney, this guy fought, I think, twice in 10 days, 14 days, something like that. Crazy turnaround, super fast turnaround. And what happens? He takes his 3rd fight on. I think this was his first full camp, besides for that first fight, if I'm not mistaken.
This is his third fight in the UFC.
His 3rd fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
His first fight was a TKO. Second one was submission, and then lost this one. Now, so he comes in undefeated in the UFC. 3rd February 26th. Now he turns it around March 12th. Right after that, loses. So he was doing well in that first round. I don't know if you remember. He was doing well. He hit him. Of course,
I rewatched it today.
Shots. He came with
that fight
shots.
Was crazy. He drove in like a ninja. He came in. I think he got in the first minute or two. He got 3 knees on Dober, and he was pounding away. And but as the fight kept going, he started to slow down just a bit, and Dober was able to use his experience. He put him against the fence. He got him to the ground, and he was able, and he just shot off on him. And Dober That was just a crazy round, but Dober ended up with a TKO win.
Correct.
But you know, rewatching that, you know, watching that fight twice now, there's something that kind of bothers me. So in the beginning of the fight, around like the 1.5 minute mark, Terrence McKinney is just shooting off at Drew Dober. Like he 7, I think it was, I counted, it was 7 seconds of just straight him punching him in the face. And then Druber sprang back to his feet and it kept going.
So
and Keith Peterson the ref Keith Peterson did not stop this fight.
Mm-mm.
2 minutes later, Dober has McKinney on the ground and he hits him for 9 seconds. Peterson stops it. So
yeah, go ahead.
I feel like it should have been stopped in that moment that McKinney had Dober on the ground. Maybe it was just because Dober bounced back. I don't know if that extra 2 seconds warrants a stoppage. It was almost mirrored. I mean, of course, Dober went into his bashing off on McKinney with a knee to the face, and then he started hitting him on the ground. So that's a little bit, but I mean, after all the damage that McKinney had done in the first minute, I feel like the fight should have been stopped there.
Okay,
well, I'll explain to you another side. So when it comes to stopping fights in general, you have to see if the guy hit is defending. Now, what was happening with Dober was that when he was getting hit, he was still defending. Even though, yes, he was getting hit, he put up the guard, he was getting hit through the guard, still getting hit, but still defending at the same time. So he had a chance to get out of there. Finally gets on his knees, grabs a leg, and gets up somehow, some way, miraculously. But he does it. And that's why the fight kept on going. Now, with
McKinney had his guard up too when he was on the ground.
Yes, but when McKinney got hit, he got hit so many times. So there's a number of strikes unanswered. Okay, so there was nothing hit back. And 2, when he was hitting him, his head was bouncing off the canvas every time. Now that is a sign where the guy can't control the hits anymore. So the referee sees his head bouncing off the canvas. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to stop the fight because the damage is too much. That's already considered a TKO because that head trauma in the fight is too much for it. So it's too much for the fighter. So I agreed with the stoppage. I think that Dober is a dog. He has 24 wins, 11 losses. This is his 30th something fight in the UFC. I mean, in MMA in general as a pro fighter. So this guy has experience. He can take hits like that.
I don't know the fuck he still looks like that. Like Drew Dober looks like a fucking supermodel, but he gets his face bashed in like nobody's business. I'm like, bro, 100%. What is your healing process 100%, like?
100%. And Terrence McKinney, a guy that's 12-4, he's considered technically a newbie in a sense compared to a guy that has 24-11. So you're looking at both guys and you're like, listen, you want to have this guy get his head bounced off the canvas until he's completely knocked out? Or do you want to save him from that KO completely? They said, listen, let's save him today and let's have him fight longer. Let's not, ruin his career. So in that sense, it makes sense. Of course, was it Herb Dean that was doing that one?
It was Keith Peterson.
I think Keith Peterson understands who he's judging. He's looking through the fights. He's looking through the guys. He's like, listen, Terrence McKinney, younger guy, less fights. We're not going to kill him. We're not going to fully KO him. Drew Dober's a guy that can take it. He's been through the reins, and I agree with the stoppage for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so another fight. I mean, these fights we'd spend the whole hour just talking about these. Another fight in the prelims. There's a fight in the prelims that I think was also incredible. That probably a little underrated. Cody Brundage versus Dalcha. I can't pronounce his last name. Lungimbola.
Okay.
It's hard for me to pronounce his name, but basically, Lungimbola was beating the shit out of Brundage for literally 3 minutes. The fight was 3 minutes and 41 seconds. Okay, so he was beating the shit out of Brundage for 3 minutes and 39 seconds. He was just teeing off on him in every single way. He was holding him against the fence and just teeing off on him. But then Lungimbola went for a double leg and tried to take Brundage down, but Brundage was in a very good position, and he was able to get him in a guillotine choke as he went down, and Lungimbola tapped. He tapped
That's
after like
crazy.
2-3 he fucking
Like
tapped.
that,
So
like
Cody,
that.
Cody Brundage ended up winning that fight. It was a crazy reversal.
Incredible reversal. The guy's 7-2. You know, he's coming up. You know, I don't know his stats. I don't think was this his debut or was this like his second fight?
No.
'Cause I've never.
I don't know, but he doesn't have a Wikipedia page, so it's more work for me to look at his history.
I could look it up here. No worries. But point is that guy is a dog. He stayed through the fight. He did not, you know. Yeah, this was his second fight in the UFC. Second fight. 66. He lost against Maximov. This is his first win in the UFC. That's good. You know, listen, props to him. You know, he's going to be a future prospect with the way that he fought. You know, he can take it and then he can turn it around like this.
He saw an opportunity and he took it.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of those guys you do not want to count out next time you see him fighting. That's for sure.
Yeah, and then right before that was Guido Canetti versus Chris Moutinho. Yeah. So Moutinho, you know, as a lot of people know, he fought Sean O'Malley back in, I want to say, December, and he got the shit beaten out of him, but he did not go down. He kept walking forward towards O'Malley. I mean, like, in this just really, like, zombie-like way. And just kept taking shot after shot after shot after shot. And so this fight was really the question of, you know, what's it like when he's not fighting, you know, a top prospect? Is he going to still be a human punching bag? And the answer was yes.
The answer is yes.
The answer was yes. He got knocked out in 2 minutes.
He fought a guy who was 8-7. He's 42 years old, I believe. The guy's old, super old dude. I don't even know how he's still in the division.
Yeah.
But he was 8-7.
He's 9-6. Well, he was 8-6. Now he's 9-6.
No, he was 8-7, and now he's 9-7. I'm looking at it here. So this guy, he's not good. I'm sorry. You're 8-7 in the bantamweight division. You're not top guy. I'm sorry to say that.
And if you get knocked out by a guy like that, there's nothing really for you.
Yeah, that's first of all. Second of all, the guy is very strong. You see, he has power in his punches. You know, so. Yeah, he lost his last 3, you know, one off decision, one off KO, one off submission. So, like, guy's not really, you know, his first win in 4 fights, you know, and Moutinho, we thought he was going to have a prospect. He thought we were going to be able to see, you know, more of him. Fight was stopped in the first round. Didn't really get to see much of Moutinho, which kind of sucks. We wanted to see what he was able to do when one of the greatest fighters in the bantamweight division is not against him, like you said. Didn't get to see that. Got knocked out. I agreed with the stoppage. You told me before that you didn't agree with the stoppage.
Well, that's just because because Moutinho has been shown to take a lot of punishment. I thought it was maybe just a little premature. I kind of agree on second watch with you that because I spent a lot of today rewatching those fights, and I think I agree. I mean, what was he going to do really? I mean, with Canetti's Canetti may have had a shitty record, but he had a lot of power. And with that much power coming in at 135, you know, what are you going to do against that if your style is to take damage and keep pressing forward, and you have this very like I'm willing to eat a bunch of shots to make some shots. With someone with that kind of power, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to get knocked out. So I think that fight would have ended the same way if it had gone for another few minutes, regardless. But I agree. But what does that say about Sean O'Malley though? Because obviously Sean O'Malley has amazing technique and he's very fast with his footwork, but I guess he doesn't have knockout power like that. I mean, if Canetti with his record can come in and knock out Moutinho, but Sean O'Malley is just teeing off on this guy for 3 rounds. And
he didn't knock him out. He didn't knock him out. He TKO'd him. The ref came in and said stop.
I don't agree with that stoppage. I protest that stoppage. I think it was Herb Dean. You know, Herb Dean fault. All right. I disagree with that stoppage.
No, what I'm saying is that on this fight, he wasn't out. He wasn't sleeping. He wasn't going to bed. He was TKO'd.
Well, the same thing happened against O'Malley, where he was TKO standing.
Both fights, same stoppage, same type of stoppage. Now that we see that it's the same type of stoppage, with that you have, if he is a human punching bag, first of all, he's not going to go Second of all, he's just not he's not what he thought he was, I guess, or it's not what we thought he was, because we thought he'd be able to take it and then give it. He wasn't able to give it once, so that was the missing part. We know he could take it back. Then what is he doing here?
Yeah.
Bad matchup for him.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. The first the first 4 fights had finishes. I think I jinxed it. I think it was me, because then we got to Javid Basharat versus Trevin Jones, and I saw Basharat in his Dana White Contender Series debut, like before he got his sign, and if he was phenomenal. I tweeted out, this fight's definitely getting a finish, continuing the streak. It was the first fight that went to decision. By the way, guys, if you want to check us out on Twitter, C_I_MMA, I live tweet every single fight event that I watch. So I live tweeted UFC this weekend, and I live tweeted EagleFC this weekend. So if you're on Friday, Saturday, if you want to catch up with me and see my takes on the fights as they are going, more than welcome to check it out. But I mean, this fight was just filled. I mean, this card was filled with just bangers. Just really, I mean, except unfortunately for the main event, which was Magomed Ankalaev versus Thiago Santos. It was a little bit of a snooze fest. And I'm getting worried about Thiago Santos. All right, he is 1-4 in his last 5 fights, and his last 2 or 3 performances were he just didn't really bring anything. He's been playing it super safe. Like, I understand when you're at 205 pounds, there's a heavy threat of knockout, but you gotta come in. I mean, Derek Lewis versus Tai Tuivasa, these are 2 knockout art in the heavyweight division. These are 2 full-fledged knockout artists, and they brought everything. But Thiago Santos is just.
So you got to keep that in mind. Exactly what you just said. He was, the last 3 fights were losses? Is that what you said?
No, he is in his last 5 fights, he is 1-4.
1-4. Okay.
And his win was against Johnny Walker, which was the most boring fight I've ever seen.
Exactly. So my point is, when you're that big and there's the threat of the knockout and you've lost so many fights, you're not willing to risk it at that point. You need to play it safe. So yes, as a viewer, we want to see him go nuts. But as a fighter, he doesn't have the ability to do that. He cannot lose this fight. In the UFC, 3 and you're out. Usually there's no questions asked.
Yeah, but
even if you're Thiago Santos. So it's like he had to play it safe on his own end, and he still got wrecked. So it's
the problem is that by round 3, it was very clear he was losing the fight. It was very clear, and he knew it. His coaches knew it. He 100%. Should have, at that point, round 3, round 4, you come out with everything, because you already know you're losing the fight. And he did. He just looked so sick. He was just trying. And Magomed didn't do a lot to win this fight. He just, he got a couple takedowns.
Played it safe in a way. He played it safe in a way, yeah.
I think that they both just have similar styles where they're counter strikers, and they sort of wait for the first other person to go in before they make their move. And this was not a good matchup. If Thiago Santos is going to keep fighting, I don't want him doing main events anymore. It ruined the momentum. This card was like bananas from start to finish, and having a main event like that just kind of kills the hype of it.
I definitely agree. I do want to talk about a couple more fights on the card. We have Khalil Roundtree, who's a fucking animal of a man. God damn, this guy's physique is just scary overall. Being at that weight and looking like that,
he beat Carl Roberson like he owed him money. Like that was that body kick.
Oh my
right before he finished him with those punches. That body kick, you could hear that shit in space.
100%. And just the creativity to come up with that kick in that minute, in that second, crazy, because he only had 1 second to hit that kick. As he was turning over, he hit him. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like he was waiting for it.
I mean, his movement.
Second he turned, he hit him.
His movement in like that last 20 seconds was incredible.
Wow.
I mean, he sprawled with him. He got on top of him. He got up. He just started swinging every single hit. Then he did the body kick and then 2 more punches. And Roberson was literally on the ground, just like this, because he was just
so
done
much from that kick. I mean, imagine that guy kicking you. Okay, let's put that in perspective. Let's imagine that guy kicking you. Yeah,
I
that's not fun. Let's just say that. That's not fun. Now,
yeah.
I think the best, most impressive fight on the card, besides for all the other ones that are actually contenders. We're talking about Song Yadong. We're talking about Marlon Moraes. Song Yadong coming out like a freaking ninja. Beautiful uppercut, like kind of like a uppercut / hooks in a way, because the way he turned at the last second to just hit him perfectly on the chin. Wow, just beautiful work by Song Yadong. Beautiful awareness to where his opponent's head was in the clinch. Just perfect. Like, wow. Just I was impressed the second he hit him, and he cold. I think he knocked him out. I'm not mistaken. Like, he was seeing stars.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know about Cole. Definitely seeing stars like that.
He was out. Like, he was gone.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really funny that Song Yadong trains at Team Alpha Male with Uriah Faber. Uriah Faber has a notorious rivalry with Dominic Cruz, and Song Yadong wins. He's put on the mic. He has a translator for some fucking reason, and he's speaking Chinese.
Such good English, but yeah.
Wait. He has a translator, but then he's asked about who he wants to fight next, and he takes the mic in perfect English and says that he wants to fight Dominic Cruz.
I want to fight Dominic Cruz.
Yeah,
because
of Dominic Cruz's rivalry with Uriah Faber and just another one. I mean, it's a good call out. It makes sense on the matchups. I would love to see it. But it's just so fucking hilarious that he has like Song Yadong, he has his wife who as his translator. She's you assume that he can't speak English, and then he just takes the mic and in perfect English talks about how he wants to fight Dominic Cruz. It was
perfect. I don't know about perfect, but yes, in English, yes.
I mean, better than a lot of these foreign fighters.
I agree.
I was not expecting that level of articulence
I didn't
in
know
English.
he spoke any words of English, to be honest. And maybe he might have trained that with Uriah.
There's a meme. There's a joke that Uriah trained him to say that exact phrase for months.
I could see that.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. But what a good fight! What a good fight, really. That was the best fight on the card for me because it was contenders, so it had a lot of stake behind it. That's for sure.
But UFC was not the only fight card this weekend. There was a lot. There was UFC, Bellator, PFL, One Championship, and of course another one that we watched, EagleFC, which is the fight promotion of former lightweight legend Khabib Nurmagomedov. Yeah. And let's talk about that a bit.
Yeah. Let's see here. Who do we got? Who do we got on those fights?
I mean, the main card was Kevin Lee versus Diego Sanchez. And what's funny? Both of those fighters were released from the UFC last year under controversial circumstances. Kevin Lee tested positive for Adderall, which for some fucking reason is considered a performance enhancing drug. And his reaction to it and the whole back and forth with the UFC ended with him leaving the UFC and going to EagleFC.
5 losses in a row. Well, let's not forget that.
Yeah, but that's not why he left. He left because of the
big reason why he left.
He was scheduled. He was scheduled for a fight, and then it got postponed. It didn't get canceled. It got postponed because he tested positive for Adderall and got a 6-month suspension. And then he left the UFC. I don't know if he left or was cut. I was looking through articles. There's no official statement, but he was cut. Diego Sanchez was cut because of shit that went on with his coach,
ex-trainer, his ex-coach,
with his ex. Yeah, I mean, and that is crazy drama shit. If you want to look up, if you guys want to look up that shit, the saga with Diego Sanchez and his former trainer and the UFC is nuts.
Crazy. This guy was out of his mind. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what he put in Diego Sanchez's fruit punch bowl. But he was drinking some Kool-Aid that he should not have been drinking. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but I mean, the fight card, was solid. I was surprised with the level of talent that EagleFC has attracted to their promotion in such a short time. Almost every fight. I mean, these fighters are at the lower levels are better than lower level Bellator fighters.
Mm-hmm. They're paying money. I don't know if you saw the payouts for them. Kevin Lee made $100K more than what he was making at UFC. His last contract was 110K per fight, and I'm assuming that's win-win. So if he wins, he makes 110K, and here he was paid 210. So he was paid 100K more, which is double his purse. What he was making before. Eagle FC's paying him double. So listen, Eagle FC, they're paying their fighters. These guys they're prize fighters. They're here to make money. Eagle FC has realized that. So they were like, listen, if we can pay these fighters what they're looking for, we'll double their purses and we'll make money off of these pay-per-views. We'll make money off of these views, off of these sponsors. There's a lot more money to be made. Now listen, UFC has a different type of model. They have the ESPN model now. It's so super different than what it used to be. Before it used to be a pay-per-view model. Now it's ESPN model. So Eagle FC doesn't have a model. They're trying to figure it out from the jump. So like, listen, we have money to spend. We have good sponsors. We have worldwide audience. They have Russia. They have America. I'm sure they have a big European audience as well. So there's money coming in, and they're going to start paying. So you're going to see fighters coming to Eagle FC. I can see that.
And not only was there high level fighting talent, their commentators were Chael Sonnen, Henry Cejudo, and Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, don't mess. When you got Ali Abdulaziz, working with Khabib, you're going to get all these guys together. They all work together. They're all under Ali. So Ali Abdulaziz bringing everybody together, making Eagle FC what it is. It's a joint effort with everybody, and they're showing out. Look at the fights they put on.
And you guys just so you guys know, you can watch these Eagle FC fights for free on this app called Go Flix, but FLX. Go FLX. Yeah, you can, if you just sign up, you can watch these fights for free, and they were really good. Talk about the main event here, Kevin Lee versus Diego Sanchez. Kevin Lee just dominated for 3 rounds. Obviously, it's kind of what you would expect because there's an 11-year age difference. Kevin Lee was in better shape when he left the UFC than Diego Sanchez. But Diego Sanchez, he didn't get finished, and he was able to put a 7 fight, and he did a lot of damage to Kevin Lee's front leg. Kevin Lee was basically limping through most of the fight. He was in control of most of the fight.
Yeah,
and I was very impressed. And then there was the co-main event, Rizvan Khanev versus Anthony Hamilton. That was really good. A really, really nice guillotine choke finish in the first round. And do you know who Eagle FC just signed to their promotion? Junior Dos Santos, former heavyweight champion of the UFC. Yeah, he's fighting in I think like 2 or 3 months. As I think that this fight with Khanev and the Dos Santos fight are #1 contender fights, and I think that then afterwards they're going to fight each other. And I'm pretty sure there's already a heavyweight champion of Eagle FC. I haven't done too much research into it, but I know
I would assume
they did create a new division for Kevin Lee. Called super lightweight. Yeah, 165. They moved their welterweight division from 170 to 175, and they created this 165 division called super lightweight.
That. I agree with that. I think that there should be every 10 pounds should be a weight class. I don't understand this 55, 70, 85. Like, what are these weird? Let's make it 55, 65, 75, 85, and then 205, and that's it.
I don't know. I'm not in charge. There's probably a reason. There's probably some kind of medical or logistical money reason. There's something.
I don't think so. I think it's literally just like one of those old school things that they just never changed. But when you have innovation in the sport, like we have, like young guys thinking about it and watching it, they're going to be innovative. Like Khabib. Khabib's 30-something years old. He's a very young guy. He doesn't mind making new things in the sport, And I think that he took that from Kevin. Kevin was like, listen, I'm a young guy. I'm 29 years old. I'm telling you, let's make a 65 division. It makes sense. Like, people don't want to cut that weight. People that weigh 180, 185 don't want to be cutting 30 pounds of weight. Let's make that to a minimum to 15 pounds. Help us out, because then the fights are better. We're not as drained. We can fight better on fight night. So, somebody like Kevin Lee, who does have a lot of experience, a lot of fights, been in top level fights. When he says we should make a 65-pound division, there's a reason for that. And Khabib listened, and I really think that that's a big thing. And I agree. I think it should be 65, 75, 85, 205.
Yeah, the Dos Santos fight is in Miami, just like this one was. We should definitely go to that. A lot of these fights are in Miami, so if you guys live in Florida like we do, definitely worth checking out.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And of course, in addition to those promotions, we also had Bellator. And the freakiest thing, I was telling you about this before, the freakiest thing happened with Bellator. So Cody Law is an American top team fighter. He won his fight by knockout in the first round at 1 minute and 17 seconds. The freaky thing is, apparently, this is what he, people believe this is what he claims, and people believe this, he predicted that. He wrote it down. He predicted to the exact second that he was going to win.
This is crazy.
So I'm gonna pull this up right now. So do you see it?
Yes, I see kind of. It's kind of in the corner there, but it's all good.
Yeah, so if you see, Cody Law took a photo like the day before the fight. Ariel Helwani confirmed, where he says Law defeats Adcock, his opponent, via KO, round 1, 1 minute and 17 seconds.
Did he write it on a paper? Because I can't really see the full picture. If you want,
he wrote it on a notepad. He wrote it on a notepad.
Yeah. Okay, I see a pen and paper now. Yeah, I can't see the full screen, but it's all good.
Yeah, according to Cody, he does this before every fight, and he's never. Only once has he come close. He came close within 30 seconds, but apparently this time he got it to the second. And a lot of people are doubtful of this. I did not believe this, but he is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down. He sent multiple photos to Helwani. He went on Helwani's podcast today, and he's like, I'm telling you, this happened. So apparently, Cody Law has the ability to predict the future.
Mystic Cody. We got Mystic Mac in the UFC. We got Mystic Cody in Bellator.
New mythical fighter, Cody Law, the fortune teller.
Cody Law, the fortune teller. Mystic Cody coming in hot with a knockout in the first round. This guy, bro. This guy's a savage. Everybody that talks about Cody Law says that this guy is the next thing. Every guy. And so far, they're right. He's 6-0 now. He's really becoming one of Bellator's rising stars. As he should. He deserves it. He deserves it. He trains at ATT. He trains like an animal. Pretty sure he trains with Dustin, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone.
What is he at? What weight is he at? 155?
I think so.
I think he's a 155er from what I saw. So yeah, it makes sense. He's training with all the guys, and hey, man, if you train with those guys and you have the mentality and you have what he has, recipe for success. That's for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Crazy.
I mean, there are just so many good fights coming up. It's this is just a great time to be an MMA fan. There's so many promotions. There are so many good matchups. Then there are also matchups that, well, they sound cool. They don't make sense. And this is one of them. So recently, Robert Whittaker and Marvin Vettori have been set up to fight at middleweight in the UFC. And I just don't understand this fight. Of course, Robert Whittaker lost by decision to Israel Adesanya back in January. Vettori's last fight, he beat Paulo Costa by decision. I think that was I don't remember when that fight was, but that was an amazing fight. Definitely check that out if you guys haven't seen that. That was a whole crazy situation.
They fought at 205 in the end.
Yeah, because Costa just drank way too much wine.
Way too much wine.
Just way too much wine.
Way too much wine.
But yeah, I mean, the Whittaker-Vettori fight, it sounds cool. I know that Whittaker said that he wanted to fight Vettori because they haven't fought yet, but I don't really understand the sort of meaning behind this matchup. It's
why is that?
Because obviously, well, right now, Whittaker is ranked number 1. Vettori, I think, is ranked number 2 or 3. But neither one of them is going to go back, get a title shot anytime soon. Because they both lost to Izzy twice. I would think if I was a UFC matchmaker, that's not the kind of fight I would make. I would take someone who could be a number 1 contender, who could fight Izzy after Jared Cannonier, because I don't think Cannonier is going to beat Izzy. I'd put, like I've been talking about, one of the matches I really wanted to see was Robert Whittaker versus Sean Strickland. That was a fight that I really wanted to see. I think that would.
You think Sean's ready for that? You think Sean's ready for the number 1 guy in the division?
I mean,
That's a little soon, no? Let him fight a top 5 guy. I think he's number 7.
Well,
if I'm not mistaken.
that's the problem is there isn't really anyone else for him to fight because Brunson is basically teetering on retirement.
Yeah, I was gonna say Brunson.
Brunson is basically teetering on retirement. With Costa, there's still that drama about whether he's going to get to stay in 185 or he's moving to 205.
205,
He doesn't want to fight Vettori because they're friends. All that leaves is Robert Whittaker. And it makes sense. It makes sense because if you can get through Whittaker, you obviously have a good shot. You have a clear shot to Izzy.
Hear what you're saying. So this is the thing. In every weight class where there is a definitive champion, there's also a definitive gatekeeper. Okay, it's like unspoken. Everyone knows this. There's a gatekeeper in every division. And if you get past that guy, for example, Kevin Gastelum, if you get past that guy, you most likely will get a title shot. Now, Robert Whittaker has become that guy. He's beaten everybody under him, right? I think Kevin Gastelum, Sean Strickland could be a good fight. I just thought of that just now. But either way, my point is that what they're fighting for, the Vettori and Whittaker fight, is that gatekeeper position, so to say. So they want to see who's going to be the gatekeeper for the division so that maybe the winner of that, Sean Strickland, will fight. Or maybe they might do Kevin Gastelum, then they'll go to that. But
the problem is that if Vettori beats Whittaker, then it puts Strickland in a bad position because Strickland is not going to fight Vettori. They're friends, and he said he won't do it.
So then he'll fight Whittaker,
I guess. I mean,
as number 2 or number 3 instead of number 1. Now let's be honest here. In my opinion, Whittaker eats him alive just because of how fast he is and how slow Vettori is. Vettori is a very slow kind of guy. He's a very patient fighter. Whittaker is not going to wait. He's going to throw a high kick the first second of the fight. That's how I think that fight goes. I'm just going matchup in my head, but I'm saying Vettori is not getting past Whittaker. In my opinion.
I wouldn't count Vettori out. I mean, his fight against Paulo Costa, I understand that they were bigger then, but just the amount of power that he was throwing. I don't think Whittaker is going to finish him. I don't think Whittaker is going to finish Vettori. I think it'll be a decision win.
Finishing him.
By the way, I'm sick of Robert Whittaker winning by decision. Like, he needs a fucking finish. I'm sick of Whittaker winning by decision. I'm sick of Izzy winning by decision. I get it. They're smart tactical fighters and they know how to point score. I don't give a shit. One of them needs a finish. I want to see a knockout submission. I don't care. But I'm tired of watching Robert Whittaker spar for 15 minutes or 25 minutes. I'm tired of it.
That's how it is. That's how it is. I mean,
yeah. So I mean,
you gotta win. You gotta win, boy. You gotta win.
So I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess I understand why the matchup was made. It's just not the matchup that I would make. I really do want to see Whittaker versus Sean Strickland because it's just a very interesting style of fighting. They both are prized for their striking, and I think that would be a good brawl.
I agree.
So the next thing we're going to talk about is mixed martial arts most unexpected bromance. I did not see this one coming, but
my favorite bromance in the sport for sure, by far.
So you want to take this?
Yeah, I mean, I love all the African fighters, Francis, Israel, Kamaru. Sure, they have their own bromance as well. But then we got the unexpected European bromance, so to say. We got Khamzat Chimaev, we got Darren Till, both fighting out of Stockholm, Sweden, if I'm not mistaken. Fighting out of All Stars, I believe the gym is, where they have legends fighting out of there. And Till decides, I need to be with this guy. They've been on Instagram Live a couple of times a few months ago. What happens is Till gets on live with him a couple of times. They talk shit back and forth, having fun, whatever. The spark starts a little bit, and then eventually Till's like, you know what? I think I'm going to go to Stockholm. I need to get out of England. I need to start training. I need to start training hard because he's been losing. He's been on a little bit of a losing streak, which I think is good for him. Brings him down a little bit. He trains in Stockholm with him, and now they're just on fire. one of the guy with the most push in the UFC, the most. Khamzat Chimaev bringing out the fire out of Darren Till. On a losing streak, he's been a little bit down. He's like, I need fire. I need a fresh start. What he does, goes to Sweden and gets that from Khamzat. I don't know. I'm shouting out block asset. They've been doing some sort of vlog series with both of them, been following them around. Watch it on block asset. You can see the bromance for yourself in HD. It's the coolest bromance videos. You see interviews with them. You see everything all along the line. So these guys, I think Darren Till is going to come out with fire coming out of his ass. Just is going to be fireworks. I guarantee you. The mentality that he's getting from Khamzat, smash everybody. That's what he wants. Every 5 seconds, whenever they're training, he's going to smash everybody. And when you have a guy like that and that can and is doing it currently, telling you this on a daily basis, that mindset, you're going to see a different Darren Till in the next fight. I guarantee you that.
And he really needs it. I mean, Darren Till's a fan favorite, but he's just been on a skid, and he really needs, like you said, a fire under his ass. He needs to be pushed if he wants to continue. Like your popularity can only keep you going for so long. I feel, this may be unpopular opinion, but I feel like Conor McGregor is going to learn that pretty soon. Your fame can only keep you in the game so far. You actually have to win.
You have to win fights, my guy. You got to win fights. 100%. 100%.
So but it's so funny when I assumed when they met they were gonna gear up to fight. You know what I mean? Like the way that they were shit talking on Twitter, and then all of a sudden they're just best friends. It's 100%. like stepbrothers. Like, did we just become best friends? Yep.
Exactly what it is. And I think, am I not mistaken? Is Till at 185 now? Is Till at 185? And,
yes.
Okay, Khamzat's at 170. He could do both. So can Till.
Yeah.
But I think
they can
Till
both
has
do
decided
both.
he doesn't want to do 170 anymore. I think Till's staying at 185. Khamzat's staying at 170.
I think it's a better division for both of them.
For sure. And they're going to take over. If the fire is there, if Khamzat's in his corner nonetheless, or he's telling him what to do, woo, that's a scary man right there.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys saw Michael Bisping on Helwani, but it's the funniest shit ever because he talks about hanging out with Khamzat and Darren Till, and they are fucking nuts. They had Bisping wetting himself. Apparently they went for a drive in the car, and Khamzat was driving on the wrong side of the road and just like fucking around. And then
guys are crazy.
Till took the wheel, and they were doing donuts in the parking lot, and Bisping's like, I just want to go home to my family. You know,
he's like, it'll be a miracle if they even make it to their fights. That's what he was saying, which is so funny.
It's so
true.
Funny.
It's so true, though. These guys are nuts, but in a good way. They're nuts in a good way.
Yeah, and they motivate each other. I'm very excited to see what comes about from this relationship.
Sure.
Well, I want to see the gains.
Yeah, 100%. And I can't wait to watch Khamzat live on UFC 273 in April 9th in Jacksonville, which we're going to be at. Hopefully Till's there too. Till might be there to support him. Who knows? He might be in the crowd there. Might be in his corner. Who knows?
Yeah, I hope we get to see. I hope we get, like I said, the tickets that we get to see the fighters walk out from one side. So hopefully
you might see our hands when they do the high fives when they come out. You might see our hands, so look out.
Yeah. Speaking of live events, next week, the UFC is heading back to London for the first time in what, like 3 years? 3 years.
3 years.
And they're gonna be putting on it. It's one of the few fight cards where they're going to have like a full arena of people. But this lineup is fantastic. We got. In our main event, we got Alexander Volkov versus Tom Aspinall. And, there was a lot of controversy and drama around whether Volkov was going to be able to even get in the UK. The UK was talking about just blocking all Russian athletes because of the bullshit going on. But Volkov was like, nope, I'm fighting. I'm getting in this scrap. Ain't nothing going to stop me. Thankfully, I saw him post a photo yesterday of him in London. I'm very excited for this matchup.
Amazing. And listen, this fight card is on fire. They came back to the O2 Arena in London first pay-per-view, first fight, whatever it is. It's a fight night actually, but it should be a pay-per-view. But it's a fight night. First time back in Europe in 3 years. Not only London, in Europe in 3 years since before the pandemic. They're going hot, sold out O2 Arena, going hard. And of course, we got mostly British fighters. That put mostly British fighters in their country. I mean, pretty much British fighter on it. So I'm definitely happy about that.
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're gonna give our picks for this fight card. Now, you may, just from listening to us and knowing that we are fight geniuses, you may want to put money on these fights from what we say, but please do not just based on what we say. If you want to place bets on these fights, this is not financial advice. We get in trouble for that. But
not financial advice.
I mean, our main event, Alexander Volkov versus Tom Aspinall. How do you see it?
Okay. Heavy hands. He's got the reach. He's 6'7". Tom 6'5". The reach difference is not a big deal. They're both orthodox stance, so you might see nothing crazy. But I will say one thing. I'm looking at the takedown accuracy for Tom Aspinall. He's got 100% takedown accuracy. That means every time he goes for a takedown, he gets it. Now, he does not want to stand up 3 inches taller than him. Okay? He doesn't want to deal with the reach. He's a massive, massive dude in general. Right? He's wide, super long, just in general. I think Tom Aspinall's pound. I don't think Volkov's a black belt. I don't think Volkov's really a huge team submitting anybody. I think Tom his hometown in England, was home country, takes him down and finishes him. That's my pick for that fight.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm also leading Aspinall. I mean, he's one of these new style heavyweights. It's a little bit leaner, and he moves. He's also like Cyril Gane. He moves like a middleweight. He is super fast. I was watching some of his older fights the other day, and this dude is explosive. I am expecting great things for Tom Aspinall. People are really saying that he's going to come up and he's going to take over this division, and I'm very excited for this fight. I think Alexander Volkov is another. I think Volkov is another one of those fighters that's like you said, like a standard bearer, like sort of a gatekeeper, where if you get past him, then you are in top contention. For sure. You know, and so I'm very excited for this fight. In our co-main event, we have Arnold Allen versus Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker moving back down to featherweight after a while, you know, and we're gonna see. I saw him on Helwani today, and he seemed happy and confident, and I'm looking forward to see if he still got it. I think that this is kind of his lifeline. This is his last chance to really prove that he belongs at the top tier of mixed martial arts.
For sure, I agree, and he even a few months ago just to prove to his coaches that he can. This guy's game. I mean, making weight not for a fight is crazy. Just to show your coaches, he's committed. He's always has been, but shows even more commitment to the 45.
That said, Arnold Allen is on an 8-fight win streak, and he has been looking phenomenal.
Arnold Allen, 17-1. 17-1 is his record. Can you believe that? That's a crazy record.
I gotta pick Arnold Allen as the favorite. I gotta. I mean,
man, if you were a betting man, I would definitely pick Arnold. I want Dan Hooker to win. And if there's anyone in the world that can win, it's Dan Hooker. It's Dan Hooker. Will he do it?
What? Maybe don't get that. Let's not be that enthusiastic, because we that's what we said. You know, we had that thought when Dan Hooker was going to fight Islam Makhachev. We're like, oh, is Dan Hooker going to do it? And we built this up in our heads. Obviously, I like Dan Hooker, and I would like to see him do well. I don't think he's going to overcome this challenge. I really that'd be nice. My heart says sure, why not? But Arnold Allen is a force to be reckoned with. And 17-1, an 8-fight win streak, and the way that he's been performing lately, I just see it going his way.
I can see it.
Okay.
So English as well.
And then below this, we have the return of Patty the Body Pimless.
We don't get
versus
knocked
Rod. Yeah, I told you, mate. I'm a Scouser. We don't get knocked out.
out. This guy, bro.
He's fighting He's fighting Rodrigo Vargas. And it's really crazy that Patty doesn't have a Wikipedia page. It's probably because he called Wikipedia lizards, like Instagram and Twitter.
I love this guy.
But I mean,
can't get enough of this guy.
Yeah, Kazula Vargas is 12-4. His last win, a decision win over Rongju. That was a pretty solid fight. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we're obviously both going to go with Patty because Patty is just a top prospect in the lightweight division.
Patty is going to be insane with the crowd in his home country. He's going to be so
and they
hyped.
love him.
And they love
him.
You know that he was selling out arenas before he was in the UFC as a champion.
Yeah, as a Cage Warriors.
Cage Warriors champion. He was selling
He's a
out
local celebrity.
arenas like the O2 Arena. He was saying in an interview I saw, he was like, you guys are going to need Tottenham Stadium. Tottenham Stadium is the brand new stadium they built like about a year or 2 years ago. Enormous stadium. He was like, we're going to need like Tottenham Stadium to really pull this off. Like O2 Arena, I can do that on my own. He was like, that's cake. I was like, God damn, this guy is second fight in the UFC. He's saying O2 Arena sellout is cake. So,
all right.
I don't know. He's a prospect, and I'm going to go with Patty Pimblett. That's a round 2 knockout. That's what I'm going to say.
Below that, we have welterweight bout Gunnar Nelson versus Takashi Sato. Do you have any special opinions on this one?
I don't know. I'm looking here at the records. Pretty similar, 17-5, 16-4. They're pretty much the same size. Yeah, same reach, about same height, about. One's a southpaw, one's a switch. I mean, striking accuracy definitely goes to Gunnar. I don't know. Seems very, very even here. I don't know who I'm going to go with, honestly. If I had to choose, I'll go with Gunnar Nelson. But anything can happen in that fight. I mean, they're very evenly matched from what I'm looking at here.
Yeah,
very evenly matched.
I think that it's Gunnar Nelson has fought much higher tier competition, but he lost to higher tier competition. So it's kind of you really have to how much experience does that really give you? Yeah. It's a toss up for me. I'm gonna just to play devil's advocate on you. I'm gonna go with Sato.
All right.
So, and then we got Molly Meatball McCann, the sort of pseudo big sister of Patty Pimblett versus Luana Carolina. This is a tough one. They both have really good records. They're both. It's so crazy that Molly McCann has her own Wikipedia page, but Patty does not. It is super fucking funny. Honestly, though, I'm going to go with Luana. She has the better record. She has, I think she has the reach. Does she have the reach advantage? I think she has the reach. Yes.
Huge reach advantage.
She has 7-inch reach advantage. Yeah, it's a set. Nice. She has a 7-inch reach advantage. So, sorry, Molly. Sorry, Patty. I'm gonna go with Luana for this one. And then we got Jai Herbert versus Ila Topuria. I mean, this is a no-brainer for me. Topuria is just crazy. Topuria has been killing it. Like there's nothing you could put him against. I don't care. There's no one you could put him against unless we're talking about like a high-ranked fighter. There's no one that you're going to put Topuria against that I'm not gonna. I'm going to go with Topuria. It's just the way it is.
For sure, I agree. I mean, being undefeated in general brings something with you when you walk in the octagon undefeated. You know what I mean? So he's definitely going to come out. I mean, his reach is very small. I'm looking at the difference here. It's different. I mean, Herbert has a 8-inch reach. But I don't know, man. 6'1", Topuria's 5'7". I mean, I might go with Herbert. I'm not
betting against Topuria. I'm not betting Topuria. That's not going to happen. Like his fight, I especially loved, and I especially love that he beat the shit out of Ryan Hall because Ryan Hall just annoys me with his style. He's always trying to be like on the cutting edge. Like he's like the avant. Like talk about mixed martial artist. Ryan Hall is the artist part. Like he's always trying to use avant-garde styles. It's like, bro, just because it's called mixed martial arts doesn't mean it's not athletics. Like you can't just like make up your own moves. Like this is a fucking anime. Like it, like that fight where he tried, what's it called, ice picking, or what the fuck is that called? Where you try grabbing the person by ankle picking, where he basically, because he tried to ankle pick Topuria until Topuria knocked him out. He did the same thing over and over and over again. And I am just, I'm glad Topuria knocked him out, and I'm happy to see more of Topuria. I'm very excited. This card is going to be incredible. I highly recommend you guys check it out. Seriously, guys. Get an ESPN Plus account, $6 a month, and you can watch fights every week. And the other ones you have to pay more for are the pay-per-views. I mean, but you get these free fights, and there's the pre-show and the post-show, and
free as well. This is a fight night, and this is a pay-per-view type.
We're very lucky. Yeah, I mean,
we're very lucky. Yeah,
we're very lucky. So before we go, this is a show by fight fans for fight fans. So I'm going to ask you, my friend Ichi, who is your favorite fighter?
My favorite fighter now is going to have to be Izzy. It's been changed. You were mentioning some boring fights, but I don't know. I see something about him. Knows he's going to win. He comes in there. He challenges everybody. Doesn't care who it is. He'll take on anybody. He's going to take on Cannonier. I think he knocks him out as well. I don't know, just around his persona, his confidence, his understanding of the game, all of it put together, all-around fighter, obviously respectful as well, which I like. And doesn't take it too personal. In a sense, his job, and that's what I really like about him and the sport. I would definitely say that.
Yeah, I mean, he has the second highest contract, and unlike Conor McGregor, he's actually winning his fights. So
he fights very actively, which is what I like from a champion. Once a year, I want fighting 3 times a year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm also a big fan of Izzy, but of course, my favorite fighter, I'm gonna have to go with my boy from Louisiana, fucking Dustin Poirier.
Mm-hmm.
I just love this guy, just a true dog. I mean, he's really, I've seen my favorite comparison for Dustin Poirier is when people say he's like a pit bull. I think that's really true because pit bulls, they can be friendly and nice but when you get them in that cage, they fucking go. And Dustin Poirier has got heart and spirit for days. I mean, obviously, yeah, he lost to Charles Oliveira in that championship, but he was winning up until Charles took his back because Charles Oliveira is a ninja. But I love Dustin Poirier. Some of my favorite fights involve him. His second fight against Max Holloway is my favorite fight of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always going to stick by the diamond. I just, great guy, great fighter, beautiful family. And he makes his own hot sauce, which as a sauce lover myself, that's just very true to my heart. So I'm going to have to go with Dustin Poirier.
I get it. All right.
Anyways, guys, thank you for joining us this week. Next week, we are definitely going to be even better than we were this week. We're going to keep improving for you guys, and we're going to, just keep building ourselves up, level up. You guys level up, just like the fighters that we love to watch level up. So make sure to catch UFC this Saturday. Any other fights that interest you, if you guys want to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, it's C_I_MMA. And feel free to message us. And, we'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you next week. Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Thank you.